Sorry about that. Sorry, Alex.
You did warn us, so it's all good. That's how it was going to happen.
All right, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Welcome. We have a few people still joining. Welcome to the WINS webinar, Let's Chat series. Today we're talking to GTO and some of their local partners, particularly highlighting insights from Zambia and Germany. Our topic for today is empowering schools and local governments, looking at pathways to preventing toilet loss. I will now hand over to the rest of the team to take us through their insights. Alex, over to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nox. We're very happy to be here today, our first webinar as part of the Chat Listen Exchange series. And we want to put a focus on empowerment today. I think empowerment is something that has been important for everyone in the team who is going to present today. And this is how we came together with with the hopefully strong input and start for discussion. The time is short. We don't want to overwhelm you, so we will try to keep short chunks, let's say, but also give chance to give for questions in between and other things. So I'm trying to put my gallery somehow together in a way that I can see more of you, and it's working nearly. Okay, so now my view is better. Last time in the last webinar, we heard about the toilet loss study of The Economist. And it has really economically shown what are the losses, not only in terms of broken infrastructure, but also in terms of what missing care means for maintaining these infrastructures, but also looking at the impact on health and learning outcomes of the students and of the economy of a nation. So we wanted to take that perspective from a different angle now, looking right into the schools and going along examples, specifically also looking at Zambia and Germany. I'm very happy to have three powerful speakers on board. Starting chronologically, let's say, from the presentations that we're going to have. We have Svenja Sksoll from the German Toilet Organization. We work together in the same office. She is heading the work in German schools, and she will present us mostly a study we've done in Berlin. And then we have Shula Kazongagumulilo. I used to know your name so well, but now maybe I'm a bit nervous and yeah. Anyway, Shula, now here written down with Helen, but you will see her in orange, and also Mr. Ian Mioba, who is due to join us just in a minute. He is the District Education Secretary, Board Secretary in Lusaka, in Zambia, will also respond to Svenja's results in the study that she led. And then we will have an insight into Shula's and WaSaRec's program around empowerment in schools, around schools and school wash, and closing with an insight of the programs done with through DEBS, so like a bigger overview, and then looking at all of the results from WaSaRec and DEBS together in a way forward. So the topic, as I said, is so huge that today we're only able to give you small sweets. And if you like them, please come back for more in the longer term. And I want to encourage you to actually post in the chat when there's topics that you find particularly interesting or that you want to comment more. Write in the chat, also start an active discussion and help us to maybe shape future webinars where we can know, okay, where we can head more inside. We already know that not all of the discussions we are going to have today are actually going to be covered. That said, I want to hand over to Svenja, who is going to give us the first presentation of the day. She is a senior project coordinator for WaSh in Schools at GTO. She works with schools, administration, and government for over 10 years in improving school sanitation. She has a background in development studies and led the study on school sanitation in Berlin from GTO side, which she is going to present us just now. So, Svenja, over to you. Give us an insight into methodology, give other people a chance to maybe look also on how we did it and what came out in comparison maybe to their context. Yeah, over to you, Svenja. I'm sharing now.
Thank you so much, Alex, for such a warm introduction. Very, very nice. Thank you also for having the opportunity to speak about our work on improving school sanitation in Germany, which I think has never been done before in this network. So I hope this is going to be very exciting. Thank you also for sharing the presentation. Alex, you can just go over to the next slide. Before I introduce you to our work at GTO, a German Toilet Organization, I want to give you a very short introduction to our overall engagement in WaSh in Schools. We are an NGO from Berlin, Germany, and we focus mainly on 3 fields of work, which is knowledge management. With our partner organizations, we conduct trainings, mainly for humanitarian WaSh response. We develop and publish compendia also on humanitarian WaSh. With our policy work, we do that as the role of the Secretariat of the German WaSh Network, which consists of 30 organizations. And of course, our school work, our field of schools, I will elaborate a bit more on the next slide. So please go forward. Thank you. Yeah, GTO is engaging with schools and school administration in Germany since 2009, starting with a school project in Berlin on the MDGs. If some of you can remember that, the Millennium Development Goals, and since a few years, of course, on the SDG 6 and 4. We conducted our first nationwide Toilets Making the Grade competition in 2012. And this had a lot of media attention because basically back then nobody talked about the topic but us, as we are like the toilet organization. And with that, the campaigning and the policy dialogue on the topic basically kicked off. Just go on, please. Thank you. Last year, we celebrated the award ceremony of our latest competition, which was a huge success for us in terms of reaching a lot of schools, 135 participating schools in the competition from all of the federal states. And we embedded the ceremony into the first ever German school toilet summit, which generated over 600 media reports, which was completely overwhelming for us. But it proves that the topic is very high on the agenda at the moment. Everybody is talking about it, and the impact from that summit is also still very tangible and very strong, and lots of things are changing at the moment in this country. From 2018 onwards, the Toilets Making the Grade competition concept was also adapted and rolled out in other countries. And there are national competitions, and there is regional competitions ranging from 15 up to 800 participating schools. And on the latest rollout in Zambia, Shula will talk about later in this webinar. As Alex said before, this is going to be quite a lot of information. So if you want to know more about toilets making the grade or any other of our schoolwork, please just contact us or visit our website. Yeah, just please go further. And now I want to talk about our study, which we published in August 2023, so 2 years ago almost. We published basically the first ever scientific study on school toilets in Germany. And this has an ongoing impact on the discourse regarding the topic. We conducted the study in cooperation with the Institute of Public Health and Hygiene of Uni Bonn. Dr. Andrea Rechenburg is also here, I think, today. And we conducted the study together. So great that you're here as well. And this work was funded by Domestos from Unilever, which we were very thankful for, because it's very hard to get funding for this topic. We did focus on secondary schools as well as students from 9th grade, and we really wanted to understand the perception of students as them being the main users of the facilities, basically. So what do they think? How do they behave? And why do they behave as they do? Please just go further. I want to present you a few selected results of our study. We had basically 3 main research questions, which were about structural and functional conditions of the facilities, the structural and organizational processes around the facilities, and also the students' perceptions of usability, acceptance, and also overall satisfaction. And the data analysis basically showed that most of the facilities were damaged, partly not usable, and face cases of severe vandalism ranging from blockages to devastation, arson, demolished walls, broken doors and handles. And also cleaning is done only once per day in most of the cases. We also found that many students avoid going to the toilet, avoid using the toilets. And there are 3 main reasons for that. Lack of privacy, which was the strongest one, dirty facilities, and also the lack of essentials such as toilet paper. What we found striking is that a significant number of students stated that they basically drink and eat less to not having to use the toilet. And in our literature analysis, we found evidence that avoiding urinating or defecating all day in school can lead to severe health problems such as abdominal pain or chronic constipation. And we found that actually really shocking. It wasn't the biggest surprise for having so much experience in schools for so many years, but still having those numbers on paper was kind of like a strong impression. What we also found very interesting in this regard was that basically almost none of the respondents have ever participated in any decision-making processes. And we basically wondered whether there is actually any opportunity for them to create ownership. That was also a very strong statement, which we found in the study. And what we also did, we included questions on menstrual hygiene management in schools, which we were also very happy that this data was considered in the latest JMP report, which had a focus on menstrual hygiene management. And we were very happy that data from Germany was basically included in the report. Yeah, and then the last slide, I think. Yeah. In our analysis, we also correlated specific data. So we wanted to understand better the potential links between what we found, and what stood out was basically what can improve the situation and what can decrease vandalism and improve the satisfaction of the students. And that was frequent cleaning or higher stronger cleaning cycles, which is actually not the biggest surprise when we think about schools of 1,000, 2,000 students, and sanitation facilities are only cleaned once per day. That's actually, not very good. The smell was a really, really big issue, and we found that if we have a pleasant smell, there's also less vandalism in the facilities. What we also thought was very interesting was in schools where there was like a very transparent and good, a proper working reporting system, so where everybody knew who's responsible, where should I go to if I have something to complain or to report, there was less vandalism, and the students rated their toilets higher or better. And the last point is the one which is most interesting for me personally. I think this is a very strong point in where we should also all have a stronger look at, is the participation element of the students. So where they could participate and decide on maybe how to make the toilets a bit nicer, becoming creative and also taking over responsibility. Less vandalism, less damage, and just better facilities. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Svenja.
Yeah.
This was just like a very short insight. I think you have the whole study there. It has, how many pages does it have? So it really just, we decided to not focus on all
80.
the percentages and diagrams now, but just to give you like a short, sweet, like I said. And now I want to invite Shula first to react to these findings that we have just seen, and maybe get into a little conversation. And I've seen Mr. Ian Mioba. He has also just joined us now. He's the DEBS in Lusaka. So if you have heard enough, we will also invite you to come in with a few words. Shula, I will introduce you nicely just after, just before you hold your actual presentation, but just know that she is an empowerment and schools and school wash expert coming in with her thoughts on that same study. Please, Shula.
And Alex, maybe do you want to stop sharing the screen? Sorry, Shula.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you wanted to refer anywhere, but I can go back into sharing if there's a certain point that you want to refer to. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. No, thank you so much, and thank you, Svenja, for this wonderful presentation. A study that really resonates with some of the things that we experience also here in Zambia. We haven't really done a study per se, especially on the aspect of behavior change. So my interaction with you will be based on our experiences with the schools that we have interacted with formally and informally. In your presentation, really, one thing that strikes me is that we share common similarities with just, I think, one striking difference that I have noticed, especially on toilet hygiene. So when you talk about most schools having non-functional toilets, having learners avoid using toilets because of bad odor and sometimes other reasons, our experience here in Lusaka is that when it comes to learners avoiding using of toilets, mostly it will be the girls, and this happens mostly when they are having their periods and there is no consistent water supply in the schools. And also because of the myths around how to manage your menstrual pad, your menstrual blood. So you find that the reasons the girls would stay all day without using a toilet at school until they go home is because they don't want to go in a toilet and perhaps find there's no water, fear to stain the toilet. Most of the schools, in terms of privacy, the schools we have interacted with, you find maybe the door will be there, but it's just not lockable. And also you find that very few have got learners avoiding to use them because of bad odor. And this is because I think school administrations have been very deliberate in terms of trying to make the toilets keep clean. And I think maybe devs will weigh in on this one because of certain things that have been put in place for cholera prevention. So toilets are usually kept clean. But in few cases, you'll find schools where it really smells. You can smell the toilet from a few meters. And thanks to the toilets making the grade, that created an awakening that for the first time, some school administrators were able to get closer to the learners' toilets and realized, oh no, these conditions are pathetic. We need to do something about that. Yeah. I also got interested with the fact that, like in Zambia, Lusaka specific, one of the challenges you identified was vandalism. And I really wonder why. I would want to understand from the Zambian perspective what really goes on in the minds of the learners, because that is a huge problem in Lusaka as well, in Lusaka schools, especially for those schools that are located in peri-urban areas. These are areas in high densely populated areas. So you find vandalism, writing on the walls, and to a larger extent, I personally failed to understand that behavior. I was hoping that perhaps in your study you could have understood the mind of the learner. Why do they resort to vandalizing systems that they are using? One striking difference I note from your presentation is on toilet cleaning. So unlike in German, where toilet cleaning is done once in a day, in Zambia, in Lusaka to be specific, schools have sanitation workers in place, and their responsibility is to ensure that the toilets are kept clean consistently. And so they'll clean toilets in the morning, after break time when the learners use them, and after the learners knock off. So for the schools that have two sessions, the morning and afternoon session, when the morning session learners knock off, the sanitation workers go back in to clean the toilets for use for the afternoon, and they'll make sure that these toilets are left clean by the end of the day. Maybe something to learn from how do they manage to do that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can go on and on. This is interesting.
Yeah.
So many things to talk about, but let me end here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shula. And I think I want to give Svenja a chance to respond, especially to that question that you have around why does vandalism actually take place? And I think we're coming back actually to the topic of this webinar when we speak about empowerment. But Svenja, can you give insights from your study, but also your experiences now specific to the German context, but maybe applicable in other contexts also around why do students vandalize the toilets?
Yeah, I think this is, of course, we have there's many differences in the different contexts and regions and cultures and countries. Of course, we all know that. But the interesting thing is from my point of view, are the similarities. And I find it very just a comment on Shula, what you just said about the cleaning. This is really something where, in my mind, the German responsibilities can really learn from Lusaka, because here there is a certain helplessness. Yeah, there's we call it like a learned helplessness. That sounds a bit abstract, I know, but the authorities have issues with improving the situation, because many say, or this is not my responsibility, this is the responsibility of the other part of the authority. Yeah, this is how it goes all the time. So nobody's basically responsible. And then the cleaning only once per day. There is changes going on. They try to change that also. They, especially in Berlin, they're trying to implement like a day cleaning person or staff who's there for like 2, 3, 4 hours a day, which is something where you would think, of course, you need that with 2,000 students. Somebody needs to do something. Yeah, it's not the responsibility of the learners in a way, but it seems to be very, very hard to implement properly and also to monitor. And this is also something we work on very hard, to push policy and political will into monitoring and looking, measuring of what they're doing. But we are an NGO. This should be the responsibility of the state, of course. It's not at the moment. And I also, another comment on the part of the vandalism. This is something we all know and we all deal with, everybody who works in this field and who works with schools and consults with schools and tries to implement programs. And it's such a complex issue is vandalism, but we find that at least here in our study and also in our work in the whole country, we see that the toilet itself as a space is a space where there is no supervision from adults. Yeah, they can basically do what they want, quotation marks. But that makes it a pedagogical issue. This makes it an issue for debating it, for making it something on working on even during more during the school day, not neglecting the issue, but discussing it. And it's always something put on the side. Oh, there's something more important. We have so many important things to do. Oh, please, let's not talk about the toilets. You maybe know that too. And this is not the way to go forward. It needs to be something we all have to deal with. It's a very important space and everybody has to deal with it. And let's set the rules together and put the students in the center. This is what we found what works.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Svenja, and how you're showing like, okay, it's basically also like building up pupils as citizen, like taking responsibility for a space where they are not supervised. I think that has been one of the powerful outcomes of our work, or that understanding has been the powerful outcomes of our understanding. And I think another thing that you alluded to when you were presenting the what improves the conditions is to say like, oh, when it smells nice, there's less vandalism. So if I'm if I feel taken care of, that is what came out of your study. If there's 2 cleaning cycles and students actually come into a place where they feel respected, appreciated, it's much less likely that they actually do vandalize something. And with that in mind and giving them that ownership, I think this also frames the topic of today. I want to invite.
Just one more comment, Alex. Sorry, I know we're short in time, but for me personally, what I find is what brings the paradigm change, and we can call it like this, particularly in this country where it's a taboo, nobody wants to deal with it.
You mean Germany?
In Germany, and we do have big issues. We get almost daily. I get emails and calls from schools, from school administration, from nationwide, from all over the country, and they all ask for help. And we see that actually something needs to change in the mind of the adults before something can change in the mind of the students.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, correct.
And thanks, Belinda, for like pointing out also that to say like, okay, in Germany, people are underpaid, or generally people are often underpaid, like that, basically saying we can afford more people to clean the toilets because they're underpaid in some context. Shula, you also wanted to add in before I call on Mr. Miura?
Sure. Yeah. And maybe a quick reaction to Belinda's comment as well.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's prioritization more than cost. just understanding that this is something that really needs to be done. I'll give an example of the experience that we have had just with the just ended TMG, where before it was really 100% the work of a sanitation worker, but when the administrators were conscientized that this is something that even learners can participate, they actually formed integrated cleaning schedules where now the learners are part of that process, and they now get to appreciate more that if I use the toilet, I need to leave it clean for the next person to come and use it. Unlike before, where they would use and leave it unflushed because they know someone is coming to clean it. And also there were some interesting testimonies from some teachers, especially the head teachers, where they said, I don't know if it's unintentionally or intentionally, they have never stepped foot in the toilet for the learners. But when they entered and saw that there's bad smell coming here, I wouldn't use this toilet either. Within their limited resources, they found a way of making sure that you can snack in that toilet. So sometimes it's really not cost. It may be more bordered on mindset and what is more important to me, because I don't really appreciate the experience of the other user.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shula. Mr. Mioba, can I invite you to also share any thoughts? You're now still muted, but if you're ready, you could also share some thoughts already. Otherwise, we have another question and answer session after the next two presentations. You're still muted, so I know he had to rush to a provincial urgent meeting. So let me move on for now, and we will still have chance to come back on certain issues later on today. So moving on from the German experience, and now a bit that fusion that we started to create, Shula Kazongamulilo is going to give us now a insight into empowerment work in schools in Zambia. She's a development practitioner with a background in development studies, integrated water resource management, and WASH engineering. She serves as the executive director for the Center for Water Sanitation and Rehabilitation called WaSaRec, an organization dedicated to advancing research and innovation, community and school WASH advocacy, and capacity building in WASH and climate change action. With over a decade of experience in the WASH and development sector, Shula has worked extensively on projects that integrate WASH, gender, and social inclusion, with a strong focus on promoting equitable access to safe water and sanitation services in schools and communities while fostering sustainable behavior change. Her work bridges technical expertise with community-led development, championing gender transformative and inclusive WASH solutions. And please share with us your WaSaRec work. You will share your presentation, is that right?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Let me just share. Okay. Let me just put it in slide mode. Thank you so much, Alex, for that introduction. And thank you all for making time to join. So my presentation focuses on our approach and model for empowering learners and schools to own and direct their WASH in schools. My outline is, I'll talk briefly about who we are as WaSaRec, what has been our implementation model to foster empowerment and co-creation, and I'll briefly chat on the programs that we're doing in schools, and also what makes our initiative as important pathways for prevention of toilet loss. The WaSaRec is a local NGO that was established in March 2021 with the mandate to promote inclusive access to wash in communities and in schools across Zambia. We operate under 5 thematic areas, which is research and innovation, livelihoods for youth, women, persons with disability, and marginalized men, community and school wash, youth and women empowerment for wash governance, participation, and also climate action. We collaborate with different partners through the Lusaka Water Security Initiative platform, and here I have highlighted in detail the various partners that we work with. In terms of our model to ensure that schools are empowered, we follow a step process where we begin by first identifying where we want to work. And this sometimes is through engagement. For example, in the school wash, it will be through engagement with the district education office, where they provide guidance on which schools can be prioritized. Sometimes it would be, can we just open a competition out? Let schools who are interested register, and then we work with those schools now to first begin by building their capacity. And mostly our capacity building is centered around operation and maintenance, understanding expectations in terms of national guidelines on WINS, and also skills development in how schools can resource mobilize so that they champion their own wash. How do they identify wash challenges? How do they assess themselves and create solutions? So once we train, we build that capacity, then we allow them to go back in their schools to ideate now as committees that comprise learners, teachers, and parents, as well as community representatives like the WDCs. Then they'll now sit and say, okay, in our school, what is our challenge, really, using different tools that we will have empowered them with during the training. Then once they exhaustively identify their challenge and what the root causes are, then we engage to support them on how to develop a concept that is implementable and allow them to implement that concept. Where it's not possible for the school to implement, we co-design the concept and collectively identify for potential funders. And as WaSaRec, mostly we look at corporate social responsibility organizations within Zambia that can come in, and also on the international platforms. We look for organizations that are supporting cause within what the schools need. So as an organization, we have had 3 main activities in schools. Our flagship was the Young Wash Voice campaign, which culminated into a school wash hackathon. And building on that, we now did the Toilets Making the Grade. So the objectives of our Young Wash Voice campaign was to enhance the young people's participation in wash governance within their school setup. What we realized as we were engaging with the district education office is most of the times as NGOs, we have the temptation of assuming we know the needs of the learners. And so we sit and create solutions, go to the head teacher and say, this is the solution we want to do. Does it apply to your school? And definitely a school in need will just say, yes, we actually need a borehole. But then the learners have got their own minds, they have their own challenges, they experience wash differently. So we thought empowering them with a voice that they can actually contribute. When we say we want to do an intervention, they say, no, our priority as learners would be this instead of that. And then there's that dialogue between the learners, the administration, and the supporting partner in that school. So it also provided a platform for young people to co-create solutions. So after we had trained them, we had guest lectures that raised awareness on climate resilient wash in schools, and also empowering them with skills in public speaking, how to advocate for their own rights, and also how to identify different stakeholders around them, so that even when they are talking to their head teacher, they would know that for this that we are trying to do, maybe you can talk to Unilever. They can come and help. So we gave them those kind of skills. And after that, then we allowed them to form different groups. And in these groups now, they focused on different thematic areas: water security, menstrual hygiene management, inclusion, waste recycling, to now ideate amongst themselves what is the problem in our school when it comes to waste management, what is our problem in the school when it comes to menstrual hygiene management, and what are we proposing as the lesson, as the solutions that should be taken forward. So what you see in these pictures, for example, there is the group that focused on non-recycled plastic waste. So they looked in their school, they saw a lot of plastic being wasted around, bottles of Coca-Cola, bottles of Fanta, and they decided that we can recycle these by making raincoats and by making different ornaments, bracelets and ornaments for decorations in the house. Then on my far left here, you'll see this is action, learners in action discussing. This group was looking at menstrual hygiene management improvement in their school, and they were trying to figure out what would be the solution. And in the second picture here, they came up with a prototype of a low-cost incinerator that is just about a meter. It takes up just a small space of the school, because they were also looking at availability of space in school, availability of resources. So this was really a low cost that doesn't, and also ensures that the myth of someone stealing your pad and taking it for rituals is addressed, because the way they designed it was that once you throw your pad there, no one can take it out. The only way of getting rid of it is by burning it. And according to this prototype, when you burn it, when you 100 pads is equivalent to 1 pad smoke. Yeah. So what we learned from the Young Wash Voice campaign and the hackathon was that the learners had brilliant ideas, but they needed the support and buy-in from the school administration. And that was the missing link in our focus for capacity building. We empowered them with so much information. But then if the school administration is also not empowered, then there's that gap. So building on that, we collaborated with the German toilet organization, Lusaka City Council, and DEBS to now adapt the toilet making the grade to the context of Zambia, with the aim to empower schools and support the Ministry of Education to strengthen localized implementation of WASH solutions. So in this toilet making the grade phase, data collection was through schools forming committees and collecting data through self-assessment. And we also ensured that the tools that we were using were strongly aligned with the national guidelines. So in this, I'll just quickly highlight on our approach. So we allow the schools first to form their committees. Then once they form the committees, they enter into the competition by submitting a proposal, which highlights their self-assessment, what their challenge is, the root cause, and what they are proposing as a solution and how they are going to implement it. Our model does not give money to schools to solve the problem. We allow them to identify the problem and solve it themselves, but then we incentivize by attractive results, prizes, sorry. So after we select the participating schools, then we capacity build them, and then they now go and refine their initial proposals and implement. During the implementation, we are providing monitoring and technical supportive support, where if they have any technical question, we guide on how they're supposed to do things. Then we celebrate the model schools. So here I just want to highlight on it's just a short video for you to appreciate. This is one of the model schools that scoped the first prize for the TMG. Alex, I can't. Also, when you share screen, you can't show the video.
Let's not share the video. Just tell us how happy she was when she was walking around, like showing quickly, that. I saw the video. Oh, there it is. Okay. Because you're also a bit short on time already. You have 1 minute for your last 5 slides.
Okay.
But I know you have mostly stories to tell now.
Yeah, so this is one of the schools, and this is what they did. This was done with their own resources. We didn't provide them not even a coin. They installed the water system, they installed the taps, they renovated broken down infrastructure, that is in terms of hand washing facilities within the schools. And this is another model school that also scooped the price. They also decentralized water supply to be closer to the learners, and like before, where learners needed to walk and miss a significant part of learning. Yeah, so why do we take the path of empowerment and co-creation as WaSaRec? We are convinced that through this path, we are able to provide sustainability through capacitation of various school actors. We bring in every actor in the school is empowered with knowledge. So WASH is no longer a responsibility of a sanitation worker. It is now a responsibility of every teacher that is there. It is the responsibility of every auxiliary worker that is in the school. It is the responsibility of the parents whose children go to this school. And so we allow them to begin to see this collectively. And when the school says we need to replace a tap, the parents have an understanding why that is important. We also are convinced that schools see WASH as something to plan and budget for themselves. So through this empowerment, we are creating a platform where now we are shifting slowly the mindset from WaSaRec needs to come and do this to what can we do to do this, even as we are waiting for external collaboration. We also believe that it builds interest in the public and local governments for wins. So we had partners, private partners that could get interested and say, oh, this is what is happening in schools. And also just the idea that community leaders now begin to take interest in what is happening in the lives or when it comes to WASH access in the schools where they send their children. We also see this as a way of promoting innovation and deliberate decision-making by schools towards WASH improvement. And learners develop a strong sense of ownership and responsibility. What you see in the picture here is one school that participated, that after they were trained, they went and made those integrated sanitation plans I was talking about, where now they said, okay, on this day, grade 12B will be on duty together with a sanitation worker. So they begin to learn and appreciate that they need to keep their facilities clean. So the strength that we see is that through empowerment, we are able to give schools the ability, motivation, and an opportunity for them to react to changes they want to see, collaborate better with external stakeholders, and look for regular availability of resources that can enhance maintenance. All this collectively lead to sustainability. Thank you so much. I know I've taken so much time, Alex. I apologize.
No, not at all. Thank you so much. This was super interesting. And I think what I loved, what came out strongly is your passion for the empowerment of the learners, but that the learners themselves are not the only solution. It's not about learners now cleaning toilets, but it's about coming together and bringing everyone's perspectives together from different actors, from students, staff, teachers, administration in the school, and then beyond. And now looking beyond, I want to invite our last input from Debs. So big applause for Schule again. Thank you so much. No sorry at all. Mr. Mioba, are you there? And are you able to share your presentation directly? So the District Education Board Secretary, Mr. Mioba, has joined us. I'm seeing he is present, and I think we're just setting up the presentation while I can do a quick introduction. Mr. Mioba is the DEBS renowned for his extensive experience and dedication in the education sector, serving as a District Education Board Secretary since 2020. He has demonstrated strong leadership and a deep commitment to improving educational standards within the district. Mr. Myoba holds a master's degree in education, leadership, and management, equipping him with advanced knowledge and skills to effectively oversee educational programs and initiatives. His expertise and strategic vision continues to contribute significantly to the development and enhancement of education in Lusaka. And we are looking forward to get a better overview of the programs done in Lusaka and mostly the results done achieved, as well as an insight. Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, good afternoon. How is everybody? I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. I will speak for myself. I'm fine, and I will just pretend everybody else was also fine. But somewhere in our heart, we are fine, and sometimes we're not fine. But generally, I will just say we are all fine.
Yes.
Good to see you. We've been seeing
Thank
your
you so
picture
much.
on the poster, so now we're happy to also meet you live.
Thank you. Glad to be met like that as well.
Would you like to share your presentation, or should I share it?
You can share it from there.
Okay, I will share it now. And one moment. And you can start if you like, while I'm just setting up shortly.
Yeah, as you're sharing, I think it is important to take note that Lusaka is very aggressive with the program of WASH. I think from the time it was started, we have sailed this smoothly, and we are benefiting greatly. So WASH for Lusaka is here to stay. We are glad it came because it brought out a lot of issues that we were struggling with. So we are happy that we have WASH, and allow me now to get to the presentation so that some of the highlights will be tackled in the presentation. The outline there, it says introduction, WASH program, that is number 2. Great program, pay attention. The role of DEB's office, empowering schools for sustainability, challenges, recommendation, conclusion, and then we will sum up and say bye to each other.
Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
Please.
Thank you so much. I know we will probably extend just 2 or 3 minutes, so I'm encouraging everyone, if you have questions, put them in the chat, and we will keep them for next time instead of making a big question and answer this time. So yeah, sorry for taking probably just 3 more minutes of your time, but let's go. Thank you so much.
Introduction, it is not a secret that as a country, almost year in, year out, we experience outbreaks in relation to waterborne diseases, especially on the high level is cholera and typhoid. The most pronounced one is cholera, leading to public health emergencies and school closures. So in response, the Ministry of Education has identified WASH as a solution, like I said earlier on, in building resilience at school level. You will appreciate that mostly these diseases like cholera are able to spread like bushfire because of lack of education and information amongst the pupils and amongst the community. That is why when WASH came on board, we appreciated because it was bringing in the education part of it. It was bringing in the unknown triple effect of teaching pupils who will go home and tell their parents to do the correct thing. So in Lusaka, these initiatives are coordinated through my office because the target is the school children. So my office is led by myself, and my title is the District Education Board Secretary, which I have a bigger role in managing the district in terms of education. And some of my functions are highlighted below here. My biggest role is to supervise schools. Every school that is in Lusaka district is under my charge. And therefore, I have a responsibility to inspect the schools in order to ensure that they are compliant with school standards and the regulations and the policies, and to monitor and ensure that teaching materials are in school and they are not just being kept in school, they're being used by the teachers and the pupils. My second role as a DEBS is to manage resources. You'll appreciate that government sends resources and we are able to manage them and ensure that materials are distributed to schools and ensure that schools are using the resources that are given by government. You'll appreciate that in Zambia now we are more on a decentralized system where the schools receive money direct from Treasury. Therefore, the DEBS does not send money. The DEBS office is more on the monitoring and the evaluations aspect of the monies. Our role is to ensure that the money they receive is used to the correct purpose. Record management is one of my functions. I manage records related to education. Call me today, I'll give you the data because I have the data of every aspect of the education aspect of the district. My role also is to address challenges. When there are challenges in schools in terms of human resource, in terms of financial resource, and other related resources, what I'm able to supply, I make sure that I supply. What I'm not able to supply, it means that I'm able to escalate the challenges to the higher office that is able to implement. Without my office, then there will be no data. Collaboration, DEBS does not work alone. We are well corroborated in the district with other partners. That is why we were able to work with Border Zambia in relation to WASH, because we have that mandate to collaborate in order to improve the quality of education through resource capacity building for learners, requisite of materials, and other things. As an office, we have no choice but to enhance school health and hygiene standards. And this we do by establishing epidemic preparedness committees in all schools. If you went to the schools now, and that there are committees that are waiting for these epidemics to occur, sometimes we prevent them. We have collaborated very well with WaSaRec, Border Zambia, ADRA, WaterAid to initiate WASH programs in Lusaka district. This collaboration with these partners has resulted in Lusaka this year not having any closed school due to floods or wash-related diseases such as cholera. This milestone is attributed to WASH because WASH brought us to the fore. Schools and learners are empowered under Youth WASH Voice campaign. That's one aspect we are doing. This initiative develops learner skills in public speaking. We're not only talking about cleaning the toilets, maintaining the hygiene. No, we are looking at the young ones, and they're able to have the skills to be able to speak in public. We have debates, and we have WASH advocates and stakeholder engagement. The children that we have in these schools in Lusaka is amazing because they're able to do debates on a topic that is related to hygiene. We also have Wash Hackathon, a collaborative event where students and schools come together to brainstorm and develop creative solutions to wash challenges. What we do under this hackathon, we don't give pupils what to say. We give them a topic and they are able to brainstorm and bring out issues they are supposed to look at in relation to wash. Then there's also the Katuba initiative, which focuses on behavioral change through wash clubs. So you'll appreciate that all the schools have wash clubs. We do sports also that talks about hygiene. There are sporting games, there are sporting activities that are undertaken under the school extracurricular. The message there is promoting hygiene and sanitation practices in a funny and engaging way. I hope you will be able to see 1 or 2 videos of what happens when they are playing like this. We have a competition which talks about toilets making the grade. Wonderful and amazing competition. This is the district-wide competition that motivates schools to improve wash standards. Schools are evaluated by the jury of a local government and wash partners with an award ceremony at the end of it all for the best performing schools. This means that we are able to put pupils and schools together and give them a competition of how to improve toilets. Wash and sew programs. These programs integrate wash education into district and school competitions. We are aware that the spirit of this is to foster healthy competition and continuous improvement. We are not competing to defeat each other. We are competing to be able to get the impact and get the results that we have. After all this has been done and implemented, we are very proud to highlight the impact that we have had. Over 100 pupils have been trained in wash leadership. Today, flying to Zambia and go to any school, you will find there is wash leadership in every school. Plastic recycling projects initiated by learners to support hygiene are on course in Zambia, and in particular in Lusaka district. You are aware that this is the issue that we are grappling with the plastics, and we are able to say pupils are able to recycle, and recycling in Zambia has a cost and a benefit. Local wash problem identification. This enables schools to design tailored solutions because we do not have a standard solution for every aspect of the district. So the particular schools in the areas they are operating from are able to identify and design tailored solutions for that particular area. I can boastfully state here that over 40,000 learners have now access to improved wash services. In the past, the toilets and the sanitation was an issue. We can now proudly state that under wash services, we have flushing toilets in schools. The toilets are clean. The toilets are very good. And this has enhanced the learner attendance. Wash practices are being institutionalized in model schools such as Mumana Primary School, Chipata Primary School, Mutendere Primary School, with student-led sustainability plans. What we are doing in this aspect is that every school must be able to model and be able to have their own model and solve their problems and look at how they will sustain the aspect of it. The danger of just giving a toilet and other things is that the sustainability aspect of it will not be there. I can proudly state here that 75 wash committee members were trained in management of wash in school infrastructure, planning, and budgeting. What a great success story we have in Lusaka. We are able to mobilize support from school leadership and community stakeholders. For us, support from school leadership is number one. If we take a program there and there's no support, it will die. Because the moment you step out of the schoolyard, people will disappear. The community comes in because this is where the pupils come from. They live in the communities. And our dream is that when these pupils in these schools have gotten or grasped the concept, they will go and teach the community. The community will teach the neighbor. And eventually, everybody in the community will be able to benefit and be able to promote hygiene. Engaging school leadership and community members, securing commitment and resources. There's no doubt about it. We in Lusaka district, we have gotten the commitment from the communities, and now we're looking at the support, the human resource, the financial resources from the communities. Coordinating field level access and aligned wash programs with school policies. It is policy of government, and it is announced as the presidential announcement that every school must have a toilet. Therefore, this one we have no issue because we're able to coordinate the wash programs with the school policies, with the government policies and the country policies, ensuring program accessibility. The programs that we have of wash are accessible. They are not marginalized and targeted to a certain group, because if one group is put aside, then we'll not be able to achieve our objectives. It is clear in the story of Lusaka district that integration of WASH initiatives with the existing policy is 100%, because we are not working from a void. We are working from a position where we have these policies, but the problem is they were not activated and nobody was motivated to implement the policies. We have also, we have also WASH activities are ensured that are embedded in school curricular schedules. These are not once-off activities that one person does after some time. They are also taken out of the classroom and go to co-curricular activity schedules. You heard me earlier talk about including WASH into sporting activity. Pupils will be able to play a game with a message blended to talk about hygiene when they are off school, when they are playing at break, when they are doing an activity outside the normal learning classroom schedule. Promoting formation of WINS committees and encouraging their regular engagement. When we have scored, the WINS committees are there and the engagement is at 100%. Facilitating learner participation in district forums, training and award ceremonies. What we are lacking is the space. Everybody wants to participate. The learners, the whole school wants to go for a competition. The whole school wants to go for a forum, but we're limited due to finances and time. This WASH program is so exciting that every people wants to be part of it. It is exciting and it is teaching them something with excitement. We have no issues with student involvement. Walk into a school today and talk about WASH. Ask them, what is WASH? You'll be amazed how rich the children have that information. Of course, we are monitoring the implementation and ensured accountability in collaboration with partners. It is always common that there will be one who is lagging behind. And that's why the monitoring and the implementation is assured. Because this is a new fora. This is a new activities. There will be people who will be tired on the way. But if we do not monitor them, the program will die. We train teacher on focal point, train teacher focal points in each participating school to lead WASH activities. What we are trying to say in Lusaka is that every school allowing must participate in WASH activity. We are supporting the ongoing mentorship of students. We call them WASH ambassadors. Young kids in schools, young men and women in the schools are our ambassadors. Encourage income generating activities. This is happening. There's a good story about WASH generating activities at Sparta Primary School. Waste recycling is able to bring some resources that the school is using. Foster partnership with PTAs and local health. We are working as a team. As I earlier on said, PTAs are on board. The local health officers to reinforce maintenance, we are there to working together. Integration of WASH activities in schools is 100%. Challenges. Limited budget specifically for WASH infrastructure in schools. Biggest, inadequate investment in operations and maintenance. Yes, we'll have a very good sanitation facility. The aspect of maintenance is very low. Behavioral change in children takes time and requires repetition. This is our cry, that the behavior of our children must hence be changed, but we can't change it overnight. They need to appreciate that this is my toilet. If I take away the tap, I'll have no water tomorrow. They're coming for backgrounds where these facilities are not there, but we're not disappointed. We are moving time by time. That's why our cry is that every child must see the benefits of these WASH facilities so that they know that I must use this and be able to use it tomorrow. We do not have enough teachers trained to act as WASH trainers. But with time, this is a ripple effect affair. With time, as we go on, as we expand, we hope that every teacher will be able to be trained in WASH. After all, it's part of our responsibility. There are very few peer advocates to drive cultural change. This is just obvious. But with time, at the pace we are moving in, we'll have peer advocates. Increase dedicated WASH funding in schools' budgets. This is the new aspect of WASH. And the budgeting at school level is a little bit low. Even at the national level is low. But we are not disappointed because it is an aspect that is being talked about now. So this challenge is still there. Sustainable maintenance plan for schools, integrated in expected administrative practice. Sustainability. Yes, people have ideas of sustainability. The maintenance part of it is lowly funded by central government. This is not a secret. And we have been advocating that when we receive a sanitary facility, we must have enough money from government to be able to maintain it. Because as at now, it is a challenge to maintain. Train more WASH champions at both teacher and learner level. Excellent. If we did this, it means everybody will be enclosed and be able to spread the news. Expand the peer-led advocacy model to more schools. This is our cry. It can be done. Let's expand. Let's have everybody. And when everybody in the schools are talking about it, the community will pick it up. Another recommendation is prioritize scale up of initiatives like TMG by targeting high need zones first. The zones are not the same. So we are saying let us prioritize where there is high density and be able to get the message there. We are saying we must secure donor and private sector partnership for a long-term sustainability. It is not a secret that government alone can be able to sustain and do these activities. That is why we have a cry to partners. We have cries to donors who can be able to support us for a longer period of time, so that as we are getting closer to the close of programs, we're able to get a sustainability aspect of it. WASH has transformed learning environments, very true. Come to Lusaka schools now. You will not find the dirty that was there. Come to Lusaka schools now. The health of the learners is 100%. Come to our schools now. The attendance of children is at 100% because there's no child who fears to get a disease. Learners are empowered as change agents, not just as beneficiaries. We have a belief that this child in a school who has learned about wash will be able to go home and tell daddy, no, daddy, you haven't washed your hands. Daddy, from using the toilet, you must wash your hands. Lusaka Dev's office is committed to sustaining these gains. It might take time, but we'll get there soon. We call on continued investment and collaboration to prevent toilet loss. We have already gained. We can't allow to lose and ensure every learner learns in a safe and dignified environment. The environment now is getting safer. The environment now in Lusaka schools is getting dignified. Are we there yet? Not yet there, but we will be there with your support and support of other partners. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Mr. Miyoba. I think this was an excellent insight into your strong involvement and motivation in a topic that not for every educational secretary, board secretary is actually something that is on their agenda, let's say. So I think the team is applauding for your strong involvement and your well knowledge on the topic, and it is highly appreciated that you came here to also help practitioners all over the world globally to get a good insight into the Lusaka situation and all the work that has been done through your office, but and also the partners and the collaborations you've been able to generate. So thank you so much for this great insight. I saw a lot of interesting comments in the chat box, and we have a lot of new insights, I think, especially on that connection of the DEPS office, local government, school administration, pupils, creating that common understanding, creating that respect for each other and that collaboration, and how that empowers all of us on the different levels to actually have these achievements that Debs has just presented to us on these levels. I would love to extend the discussion. We can easily fill the whole day with more topics. But for today, I wish to close because we know that there's a lot of priorities people have. And to close the day for us, I'm calling on Knox to share with us more on the WINS network on the way forward. Thank you so much, everyone.
I could have actually let that go on for another 30 minutes. Thank you so much. What a wonderful and engaging presentation. We are so excited to even share this as a resource online. So people in our network will actually be able to go back to today. So thank you for the time you've given. I know it's not only for the participants, but also for those speaking. Thank you for just giving of your time. The WINS network is available on online. So if you can scan this QR code, you'll actually be able to access a lot of our resources as well as this conversation. What we will do is we'll actually circulate a notification once this publication is made available online for you to also share with maybe other partners within your network. With that, I will close today's webinar. Thank you again and see you at our next webinar engagement. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. See you.
Thank you, Mr. Miyoba. Thank you so much. Anita, you're mute, but I see you waving. That's right. yeah, probably we can close and just say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us.
Bye.